What happened to all the other windows? Okay. Okay, I don't know if anybody's listening, but since the Drunk Debunk show is probably on the run today because of Mikey's calling the police on him, we're going to cover a few things ourselves. Go to CC. Okay. Because I want to keep something here. And yes, I shouldn't have copied. I had this set up, but for some reason I hit the X button, I guess. So we'll talk. We'll see what CC has to say about the rocket launch.
Bullshit. There's an interesting thing that Hollywood likes to use quite a bit, and I think we counted, I don't know, maybe during the launch while it was taking off, 12 edits, maybe 15 edits. Oh, you don't know what an edit is? Oh, let me give you an example of what an edit is. Can I? May I? Here.
Just a second. I'll stop this. Okay. I do. Okay, it's working now. Okay, we're going to cover some flat earth silliness. This is CC from Westchester County, if you don't recognize him. He often does things from his van, or from his car. But we'll see what's going on with him.
Edit! Edit!
Anybody around?
Edit! Edit! Edit!
Well, the thing with CC's doing this is every time there was a camera change during the rocket launch, he thought it was an edit. It was just a camera change. They do it all the time in production, so we don't get. But that's just CC. That's just CC.
You see, during that editing process, so many things could happen. So much time could pass, and you don't know how much time exactly has passed. However, in this case, it was a launch, right? Let's get into detail exactly what nonsense. First off, this launched off exactly. It's a fucking balloon. First off, there was a shot of one of the astronaut. Well, whatever that. He's not an astronaut, but one of the military guys took a picture about an hour or two, maybe 3 hours before Artemis with his cell phone. It was on the ground, and it pointed up to the rocket to show the size of the rocket or whatever. I'm not saying it's not big. It's it's fucking huge, you know? I mean, really, it's a freaking helium balloon, basically. But you can see how fake it looked. I mean, it
looked pretty real to everybody else. Helium, there is helium in the rockets used to help pressurize the tanks, because once they get the hydrogen and the oxygen in the tanks, they have to keep it in the tank, so they pressurize it to keep everything there and to flush out the system right before launch, and also I think for the balloons when they landed. But it was real. They did go up. We might do some Mikey Smith after this. It's just after last night's little snap he had, can you use a little bit of a refresher?
It's not a steel. This is not metal. It's nothing. It's nothing but a helium balloon. They're not in that thing right now. They're not even in space yet right now.
This was done right after the launch, so they were up in space at the time.
This is the afternoon. Tonight, after they investigate, you see, they're in low orbit So everybody's celebrating. I'm like, what are you celebrating? Did you celebrate the ISS? I don't think you did you? Because they're not any higher than that. Right now they're in low Earth.
Well, the ISS was a huge project. It took many years for them to build the ISS, so it wasn't one big celebration at the end, but it's an impressive project. Something the size of a football field out orbiting in the Earth every 90 minutes. So
low Earth orbit. Okay, that's where they are right now, and I find it really amazing that people believe this nonsense, because let's take a look at the capsule that they're in. Now, this is how many people? I think there's like four military guys that are going to.
Okay, there were three military guys. I can't remember. Oh, yes, and I did. Well, what we can do. But the three males were all military guys. They're all jet fighter. They have all are pilots and test pilots. But since my memory is not working at the moment, what we can do. You guys seeing this? Okay, you guys are seeing this. Is we can go through here and. But I think he's talking about Glover, Victor Glover. But Reed Wiseman and Jeremy Hansen and Victor Glover were all pilots. So we'll go through to see what Christina Cook's career was. This is Christina Koch. In 1997, she went to the North Carolina State University and got a degree in electrical engineering and physics. In 2001, she graduated with both of those degrees, and in 2002, she got a master's degree in electrical engineering. Then she went to the academy program at Goddard Space Center for NASA. And then, while there, she helped build a number of instruments for astronomy and cosmology. Okay, basically her career was engineering. She did some research in building instruments. She actually did a tour in Antarctica at one of the centers down there over the winter. Then she went to America Samoa and worked there as a supervisor or as a manager of the facility. So that's her career path. The other three guys are all military. So. And that's a typical route to go as military and test pilot, because you need your engineering background to fly the craft, and if there's any repairs needed, it's nice to have somebody who knows what they're doing up there.
Well, and one woman, that's right, I forgot about that. There is a lady on board. Oh man, that should be great. They're going to be cooped up in this little capsule that's about the size of a minivan. Okay?
Two minivans, actually.
Maybe, all right, add a couple of more feet to it, but it's basically like a big box van. Okay? And that's what they're in. They've got a shitter, a shoebox for it's about the size of their shitter. That's gonna be great. That's just gonna be beautiful. I could just imagine the.
Okay, every time the toilet's mentioned on the spacecraft, this is completely sideways, but I think of the episode of Big Bang Theory where Wolowitz builds a toilet that actually, instead of disposing of the waste, propels the waste into the craft. And at the very end, they have the astronauts on the ISS going, "Yeah, we're going out for a minute. This is more of a heads up than a request." But that's what it reminds me of every time. Sorry.
Aroma for 10 days. You know, when I had my injury, I couldn't take a shower for like 3 days because I didn't realize that you could put a 13-gallon bag over the leg area and tighten it and seal it too. Then I found out they had shit on the internet, but it didn't matter. But I mean, it just like after 3 or 4 days, I was like, I can't do it. I just got to take a shower. I just got to take a fucking shower. So they're going to be 10 days like this, okay? One woman and one female, and I think 4 guys, okay, something like that. You know, I can't even drive to work in the morning without one guy going ballistic behind me, shining his lights and flashes because he wants to get out of his way. He's in a big fucking rush. 10 days. So if you believe this, if you believe that they're in this capsule right now, if you believe they are going to be launched out into space and they're going to spend 10 days out there in this little minivan with a shoebox for a toilet, no fucking shower or anything, you know, a couple of sinks maybe.
Believe it or not, they actually train for this stuff beforehand, and they do psychological testing beforehand as well to see if you're actually capable of doing it. So these guys have been vetted and they've been trained, and they probably spent a lot of time together practicing different things on the mission. So they probably know each other pretty well even before the launch. Afterwards, they actually were high-fiving each other and had a great time when they were landing. So they got along great, and they're very close friends.
Maybe you know, maybe us flat earthers should get together and put together something. Actually, we don't even need to. You know what? One person could do this on AI. Oh, hold on. Let me edit. There was another edit. I had to reposition the camera. Edit. Oh, fuck. Fucking A, man. It just makes life so much better here. You know, to see these trained rats, these NPCs that really just like fall for it. Although, let me be honest with you. I really haven't seen anybody mention anything about it. I mean, I've seen it on the I think the New York Post today had a front page with going back to the future. We're not landing anybody on the moon. Apparently, if you believe this shit, you're going around the moon. Are they?
Well, they were testing the rocket. In 1968, they had the Apollo 8 mission, which went around the moon, and actually got the first Earthrise. Not the one in 1972, but it was 1968. And that one was a test, and was also saying to the Russians, we beat you to get to the moon and back. So this was just a test to see if you can get back to the moon with humans on board the craft, and seeing how well the humans did afterwards. Because I bet right now the 4 astronauts are being tested for like bone loss and the effects on the cardiovascular system and all that stuff. So that's what they're doing right now. So yeah, they did go to the moon and back.
They actually go into the dark side? I don't even know. Because there's so much little information we can find out about this. They're just going to keep winging it. That's all. Now, if they really wanted to back out,
what people think of the dark side of the moon is the far side. The far side is actually does get exposed to the sun when we have a new moon. And let's see if we can pull up. And they actually, when they were there, they actually showed footage of it, of the astronauts recording the far side of the moon. I've got the entire thing recorded, and I took a few snippets out already. Let's see. Here's Victor Glover describing the far side of the moon.
Science, integrity. First, I wanted to start off with connecting with what Christina said, that it was very moving to look out the window. I had the unfortunate sequence. Science, integrity. First, I wanted to start off with connecting with what Christina said, that it was very moving to look out the window. I had the unfortunate sequence to start looking out the window and then moved to the long lens, and it was hard to speak looking through the Zoom because I went straight where Christina went, and I was walking around down there on the surface, climbing and off-roading on that amazing terrain. I also want to underscore something that she said. as we continue to explore, when we actually do go down there to the surface, I know for safety reasons that we would never send someone alone, but I just want to really emphasize how important the discussion time was. When we started to talk, we not only got better science discussion, we got better human connection, and so doing this as a pair, we just learn and grow together, and that's just super important, so thank you for adding that to this plan. Reed just passed me a note that the Oriental Basin annular ring has a similar albedo to the center, but a different color. It has more brownish tones in it, and he said it's very distinct now that he's been staring at it.
Okay, so they actually went to they saw the far side of the moon, and that's the first time in 50 some years that people have actually seen the far side of the moon. We've sent a number of probes to the moon, like the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter and Artemis 1, but the human eye sees things a bit differently and can see a lot more wider of a spectrum and more complete of a spectrum and a wider image than what the probes can see. So that's why having a human looking down on the moon is better. Some people say rovers do better work, but the thing with rovers and robots is their instruments are designed for specific tasks. Humans are more multitask operations. Could do more multitask operations. Sorry.
Tonight would be the night. They would say there is an electrical problem. There's something going on here. One of the wires is fucked up. One of the fans went out. And they would just abort the mission and come back to Earth. However, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're gonna go through with this fake shit.
Sometimes they would probably hide that just to get to the moon, but depends on how big of an issue it is. No, they wouldn't hide it, but these people have trained for years to go to the moon, so they're probably very excited to go. So
they're just going to run with it, and it's going to be so bad. So let's see. We are not obviously going to get what we want. There's no camera on the capsule to show us going into space. There's no capsule on the bottom of the capsule. I mean, there's no camera on the bottom of the capsule that's going to show us breaking through the atmosphere and watching Earth just get smaller and smaller and smaller. No, they don't have that. I believe they do have mirrors, though. I think the AI thing that I have said there's not mirrors, windows. Said that there's 6 windows in there, which I guess would be about the size of maybe something like this, about that round or something like that, Those are fried onions, by the way. I just had a little lunch.
Okay.
So there's really no way of getting a good picture on it. And where is this fucking thing going to be pointed? It should be pointed at the moon the entire time, so you can't get any rear shots. But they say there are HD cameras all over the capsules. Well, we're not going to see dick. Nothing. We're going to see shit. We're going to see the worst photographic imaging that they could possibly imagine. They're going to give you a picture of Earth that is unrecognizable, with continents that are all fucked up if they even show those.
We actually got some pretty awesome pictures of inside the capsule. We got pictures from 4 GoPro cameras on the outside. We actually got a picture of Nutella floating around in space. So there was a lot of awesome pictures. Plus, I'm going through my old files. Okay, where did I go? I should have this stuff more organized, but I haven't watched this in a while. Where do I want to go? My account, my studio. Okay, this
This view out of one of Integrity's windows. We had a call for 3 good baros. Those are barometric pressure sensors that feed altitude and rate of descent information to Integrity's computers that will trigger the parachute deployment sequence. Some scattered clouds
Got pictures
Winds
of
at
astronauts
10
inside
knots.
the craft, and then all of a sudden,
Wave
you
heights
have
just about 4 feet. A gentle day in the Pacific for the home.
And Houston, in instruction
So
509, we are not below 0.2.
Integrity, no action required.
Integrity.
Travel. Again, just a reminder.
more of the Earth, and there you see it. The curve of the Earth from space as they're entering. I bet that looked cool. I think that's them looking out of the capsule. Because you see a bit of a reflection. So we'll go back to CC here.
Typically, they just put clouds all over the Earth and make it. There it is. It's right there. That's Earth. That white thing right there. That's Earth. Then you can see that little dark thing. Yeah, that's Africa or some continent. We don't know. You know, no stars, of course. Nah, why would we want to do that? That would be stupid. So when they go around the moon, okay, are they gonna get Earth right there? I don't know. That's gonna be the iPhone shot, I think, right there, huh? No, it's not. It's gonna be the most unrecognizable picture you'll ever fucking see, and that I can guarantee you. Okay, you'll never see anybody land anywhere.
Okay, what was it? Reed Wiseman? iPhone.
Chevy trucks are as capable and dependable as the Chevy people who drive them.
It's Chevy truck.
Now that's the iPhone shot.
Would you look at that, man?
Wow, what's the shadow behind it?
Wow.
I'm actually showing somebody else's material, which will probably get me copyright, so we'll move on.
They can pull this shit off, sure, because everybody here, they got their head in the sand. I bet half the population didn't even know this thing took off last night, you know? I mean, where was it? Where was it announced? Nowhere.
Okay, when I was watching it on the YouTube feed from NASA, they had over 1 million viewers there. Plus, a lot of that went to news outlets. Some of it went to people streaming it like Toon and Craig. I tried streaming it, but nobody watched. So, yeah, lots of people watched it. Millions and millions of people watched it, and people knew about it for years beforehand. So, but
you know, I mean, they did a blurb on it here and there, just went over people's heads. They're more concerned about the war, the fakeness, and all this other bullshit, gas prices. You know, here we're at about $3.89. But people don't seem to understand we were there for almost 4 years. That's right, we had the Biden. Remember Biden? People forget. They forget these fucking things. They forget, they just completely forget history. You know what I mean? They're complaining about 2 or 3 weeks of high gas prices. You had high gas prices for 4 fucking years that were close to $5 an hour. $5.
It had nothing to do with the sudden demand of gas after about 2 years and people not moving around much, plus the infrastructure being all bogged up because of rules to prevent the spread of COVID. Yeah, it was all Biden's fault, but I'm not an American. I'm a Canadian, so, and we still had it. It was a mess, but either that or a bunch of people dying. So,
a gallon here in New York, okay? And this idiot mayor down in the city, he wants to pay these McDonald's workers $30 an hour. $30 an hour. Do you realize nurses and practitioners, they get paid about $20 an hour? Do you know that? But a McDonald's coworker can get paid $30 an hour. We'll see how that works.
Well, New York City is one of the highest cost living cities in the world, so yeah, I could imagine that they need quite a bit of minimum wage to just survive. But
I mean, what an idiot, this guy. Just everything is just, it's happening so quickly, you know? I mean, it's just like we go through a period of 6 months of bullshit, and then bam, one after another. Remember when we were having those terrorist things? It's like bam, one weekend. That's what they do. You know, this is they don't know what else to do. All of this is made up shit. Okay, it's all there to keep you off the prize. The prize is flat Earth. Okay, and if you want to learn anything,
no, the prize is not flat Earth. Most people don't give a care about flat Earth. It's just they think they got some kind of secret that everybody else doesn't know about. That's why they think it's all about flat Earth.
Anything at all. I'm talking about your history. Okay, I'm talking about you thinking that in the 1840s and the 1700s we were sitting in little huts, okay, with an axe and you know, with nothing, with no light, with nothing, but yet we built these palaces, these beautiful palaces, dug freaking reservoirs for hundreds of miles.
Manpower was cheap back then. Well, and also, they actually had cranes back in the 1300s. They weren't motorized cranes. What they had was a guy in a wheel, walking around, moving back and forth to put things back up on top of cathedrals and move rocks around. And it took them hundreds of years to build some of these, like some of the cathedrals. Okay, I was watching a video the other day, Prague Cathedral. It started in 1344. Finished in 1929. It took them 585 years to build one cathedral. So, and a lot of these cathedrals, it took them about the same amount of time to build it. It took them hundreds of years to build it. The manpower was cheap, and they just took their time. They took a long time to do it. There were some things they could build very fast, and the huts, yes, they lived in huts, but technology improves, and we get houses, and we move on.
With no technology at all, no electrical instruments, nothing. So if you want to learn about that history, okay, and you want to revisit the history, the lies that you were told in school, and find out what we really had back in the day, okay, if you want to learn about the World's Fair, that's right, going all the way back to the 1800s, you know, if you want to learn about that, if you want to learn about your life. Okay.
Well, the World's Fair they had these fairs where they brought in people from around the world. And in one city, I don't know how far apart they were scattered, but every year or every so many years, they'd build like a park where they showed off what each country could offer them. In some places, they left permanent markers there. In London, they have the Crystal Palace, which was, I don't know, it's still there, I think, but it was a massive structure made out of mostly glass to show off things. So it was something they did every so many years. They did this because they didn't have television and radio, so they had to bring the things to the people to show them. So that's what happened. But
okay. If you want to learn about a digital world, digital world, that's right. Yeah, that all this could be digital. That what we're living in right here is something that's possibly real in a sense that you're looking at it and acknowledging it that it's real, but maybe not. It might be hard to understand. See, free will is a big thing too. See, the tests that they did, there's an 8-second gap right there. You know, the computer knows what you're going to do like 8 seconds before it actually happens. See, they proved that. That means there's no free will, and scientists don't like that.
Okay, I don't know about that. That's something different, but...
Experiment. No, they don't. They don't. That means your life is a book. Let's give you an example. Like your life. Look where you are right now. How did you get there? What paths brought you to where you are right now? And if one of those paths was crushed, where would have you gone? It's a book. It's not coincidence. Everything's been written for you. All the way up to the day you die. It's all been written for you. Everything you're doing now is going to affect you in the future. If you want to learn about all this stuff, then just download the app. I'm going to put you a link right there. Clock, Zodiac, app. It's there.
I think he's pushing Dave Weiss's faulty app. It actually leaks your personal data. If people know how to find it, they can get your data out of it. That he didn't encode it, or I don't even think he... Like for the passwords, what a lot of things they do is they take the password you do. Can all be represented with integers, or or in binary code, and they add a number to your password, and then this is called hashing. They add the two numbers together and send it to the central computer. The computer knows what number was added and can take the number away and figure out your password. Or actually, it's just usually a sum of numbers, and they don't need to know each individual letter. Like A, B, C, D would be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. So it would be 10 plus whatever they add to a hash, whatever they add to hash it, and then when they get to the other side, yeah, we make fun of flirts, and I screw up 10. And then they take the number, they take whatever number is added to hash it and say 10, and so they know what your password is. That's kind of how it works. But so Dave Weiss' app didn't do that. They didn't hash it, so it's basically a raw number. So they can figure out the password from that.
All of it's there. It's going to cost you pennies to get into it. All right, nothing. Remember, give a thumbs up for me. All right, CC 911 would be nice. All right, it gives me a little bit of.
He's getting a bit of a kickback from Dave, or our affiliate leak from Dave.
Well, whatever. Who cares? Doesn't matter. You know, if you don't want to download the app and you don't want to learn anything, all right. If you just want to sit there and believe these fake rocket launches and this fakeness that you can actually propel in space in zero gravity and make turns. Okay. I see. You're saying the gravity of a planet. That's right. Turns it. All right. I'll acknowledge that. But how do you get to that planet without direction? Oh, the thrusters on the thing. Oh, really? You say thrusters? That's funny because space is zero gravity and it's a vacuum. You can't have fire in a vacuum.
Okay. Space is not a complete vacuum. There's about 3 or 4 particles per centimeter cubed or something like that, or half. Depends on where you are in space, but I think around the Earth it's around 3 or 4 particles. There's a solar wind that comes from the sun. So it's not a complete vacuum. And the rocket fuel itself, the rocket fuel they use, one part is hydrogen and one part is oxygen. That's the main fuel that they use when they're launching from Earth. When they get into space, they use hydrogen, which they have to add something to it to oxidize it, and that propels it in some of the smaller thrusters. Plus, nowadays you have ion thrusters, which is they take electric field and they propel a little charged particle outside of it. This is not Artemis. This is for small satellites. It doesn't have much push to it, but over time it adds up. So they use this for small craft, and they're thinking of building a larger version of this for missions to Mars. I always think they should eventually build a twin ion engine, because then you can call it a TIE craft from Star Wars. But you don't need, you take the oxygen with you. And actually, if you take a gun to space, the oxidizer is actually in the gunpowder. Then there's nitrate in the gunpowder, and you can actually fire a gun in space. I don't know why you want to fire a gun in space, but you can actually fire a black powder gun in space.
Go ahead, try it. Put everything into a box. Take all the air out. All right? Try to light a fire. If there's no air, you can't have a fire. It's as simple as that. There's no air in space. Is there air in space? No. That means you don't get a fire. That means you can't have rockets. They don't work. You can't turn without having some sort of water or something to push off of. If you don't have that, you can't do anything.
How rockets actually work is they change the momentum. Because you start off with something very heavy, and it throws most of the mass out the back at very high speed, and it goes the other direction. To change direction, all you have to do is fire the rocket on the opposite side of which you want to go to, and it pushes that way. You don't need water or anything to push off of. You're pushing off yourself, kind of. Not really pushing off. You're just changing your momentum, but you got me down that. And the thing with gravity, if you get into a gravity well, the craft wants to go in a straight line, but a large body is kind of curving space, so it still wants to go a straight line, and it's still following a straight line, but it will go around the planet. And what a lot of satellites do is they'll go around a planet to kind of speed up and gain a little bit more speed. It's called a slingshot.
Anything. You're just going to sit there and go around in a circle. If space actually existed, which it doesn't. None of this exists. Stars, planets, it's all fake bullshit. It's all there to reiterate. Oh, Christ, I can't even say the word.
Okay. Space does exist. I've taken pictures of objects in space when I was a student. It does exist. I don't know where they think all the objects are in close to us, but we can measure how far the objects are. You can compare the brightness of objects, because close objects look brighter and further objects look dimmer. And you can compare the brightness of the objects. How they do this is there's a magnitude scale, and there's what they call the apparent magnitude, how bright it appears to you by your naked eye, and you can compare stars. One star may be classed as a magnitude 1 and another magnitude 3, and you have one that's in between, it's a magnitude 2, or you can get it more graduated than that. And then you have absolute magnitude, which is you take an object and set it 10 parsecs away from you, which is about 32.6 light years, and you figure out how bright it should be at that distance, and you compare the two, and you can put it in a formula called the distance modulus formula, and you get how much distance there is in parsecs. You can just compare the brightness. And this is one of the basic ways to do it. Nowadays they use flux coming in onto the camera, going to whatever detector you're using, but it's the same principle, just a slightly different formula.
word. It's all there to just keep the lie going, okay? Reiterate. Fake planets, fake Earth, fake everything. You know? It's just remarkable. But, you know, enjoy your little fake show. I think there's probably going to be a 70-30 chance that it might get scrubbed. I'm going to go with a 30% chance that it just might be scrubbed.
The rocket was already launched by the time he did this, and it didn't get scrubbed.
I'm going to give it a high 70% that they might go through with this right now, because it looks like they're gonna. And what is this shit that they were inspecting the capsule when they were on the tarmac or whatever the fuck the thing is on? I mean, what are they doing? Isn't this open, checked out and everything like that? What do you think you're going to see? A fly?
Well, they're just making sure there's no defects. Some paint chip didn't flake off, or some part of the thermal coating didn't go bad, or something happened. Challenger. Okay, they probably wouldn't have found this, but the thing that caused it to blow up was a small little O-ring on a solid rocket booster. I don't think they would have caught that, but it's just how people are. A lot of people check out their cars before they drive them away. People check out planes, check out boats. So it's just people have. It's kind of good to check out things to make sure there isn't any defects, but it's just what they wanted to do, to check it out.
No, but you might see the fly in space. That's always nice. Don't worry about it. There's gonna be many flies on that capsule, right? It's gonna stink. Oh man, 10 fucking days of bullshit. So anyway, if they actually really do go through with this,
oh God, I'm not gonna.
We all know that they're not in there. We don't know actually where they put them. We have no idea. They could be anywhere. Then a barricade underneath the ground, for crying out loud. Who knows where?
People have tracked the mission. Astronomy Live tracked it. There's a number of other people who tracked it to the moon. There were people who took pictures of it launching. There was a satellite, GEOS 2, that took images of it taking off. There were people in planes that saw it take off. So there's all kinds of footage of it taking off.
Where they are. But they're certainly not in space, because space doesn't exist. It never has, it never will. I don't think our ancestors ever acknowledged space. They acknowledged lights in the sky, but they didn't say anything like planets that we could actually build a spacecraft and go out there. No, they didn't.
Planets come from the ancient Greek planeos, or it means wanderer, but people have been looking at the sky for years. Originally, it was more trying to figure out planting cycles and stuff, because they recognize certain stars to be up before it was time to plant, so it gives you a window to start plan ahead. But Stonehenge is thought to be a calendar, because it lines up with the solstice nowadays. One way it looks directly down. There's a central avenue to Stonehenge, and it looks straight down on the solstice, on the winter solstice, and the other way on the summer solstice. Like the winter solstice was the end of the days getting shorter and the days started getting longer, so that was important to very agricultural people. It'd still be about a couple months before. Well, their weather cycle is different than ours in Canada, but it'd probably be a few weeks before they could start doing anything serious for gardening and stuff, and farming. So.
Didn't do that. 1600s, 1500s, 1400s, 640. You know, I mean, really.
The first science fiction novel or story was actually written by Johannes Kepler in the 1500s. I can't remember the exact date, but he wrote a story about a man who went to the moon, and there was people on the moon. We now know there's no people on the moon, but Johannes Kepler wrote one of the first science fiction novels. And then you have Jules Verne in the 1800s, and That's some of the first science fiction. And you wrote a story about people going to the moon.
It's just this whole civilization, the higher up have brought it up, and it's such a perfect plan because it makes you feel insignificant. That's what it does. Okay, you feel like you're nothing. You're just a little speck, that there's no God, there's nothing, there's no dome. It's just we're opened, and we're anything could happen. A meteor could kill us. Yep. A little simple meteor could kill all of us.
Well, it'd have to be more than a small meteor. I think it has to be. I can't remember that. The damage increases as you get larger, of course. So, a small meteor, if you're in the wrong spot, could kill you. But it has to be like a kilometer wide, and we actually have programs that track those. They found most of them, but there's still new meters being found. The Vera Rubin telescope that just opened in Chile's found, I think, over 1,000 new meters so far. Asteroids in space. What is it? A meteor's in the atmosphere, and a meteorite's what's on the ground. But they found 1,000 more asteroids.
Have you ever seen a meteor actually crash to the ground? I haven't. How many cell phones are there out there?
Okay. It happens that it actually happened in a province next to mine, in PEI. I don't know. I think it was a couple years ago, but this a guy was come off of the ads.
Sullivan's Crossing. Stream now.
On an ordinary midsummer day on Prince Edward Island, something extraordinary. From this angle, it's hard to tell. Did that tumble from the house or the sky? Whatever it was, homeowner Joe Validum says it missed hitting him by about 2 minutes.
It landed right between my...
So every time they mention the meteor, I will find that news clip.
I would say at least 1 billion. 6 billion is as many people that they lie and say that there are as many phones. Okay.
Probably. I don't have a cell phone at the moment. I had a cell phone, but I don't have one at the moment. So, but yeah, that's the thing. Plus, here's the thing: a lot of the UFO reports that people reported before have dropped down a lot because of cell phones and Bigfoot.
And nobody's ever caught in one actually crash land on the ground.
As I just showed in the video, we have.
The moon. Every single crater is straight on. Everyone.
No, there are craters that are off to an angle. But no, the reason why most of them are straight on is because the asteroid gets attracted to the center of gravity, so they usually tend to come straight on.
No craters like the movies depict. Making a nice trail like that's 5 feet deep, and there's the hole, and there's the
5 feet if you're lucky.
Trail. Yeah, that's what Hollywood does. But the moon, I don't know, doesn't have any of that on there. All clean craters. It's great, isn't it? I love it. The only moon, the only satellite up there, that's stationary, that doesn't revolve, that doesn't turn.
There are many other moons that don't rotate. Chiron around Pluto is tidally locked. I think most of the moons of Jupiter are tidally locked to Jupiter. Plus we know that there are planets around other stars that are tidally locked because of how close they are to the sun. And what happens is is a... Oh, jeez. I shouldn't have just started the sentence. But one side kind of gets... How does it work? Because one side tends to face the object, the parent object. I should not have started this sentence or this thought. But sometimes it's the heavier side, like the moon on our side, or the near side of the moon is actually a little bit heavier than the far side of the moon, so that helps tidally lock it. But I can't think of the orbital dynamics of it at the moment, but that's what sorry.
It's locked into the gravity. The only one in the entire solar system, and as a matter of fact, I think the only one in the fucking universe.
As I just said, nope.
And I know they're looking. What are they looking at? Lights on the dome? I don't know. What the fuck are these pictures from?
We've actually sent craft to other planets. We've sent Voyager to... Well, Voyager 1 and 2 we sent to Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus. We sent New Horizons to Pluto. We sent Viking craft to Mars. We sent the Venera probes to Venus. We sent the Messenger probe to Mercury. We've had the Magellan probe orbit around Venus. We've been to the moon. There's a number of rovers that, like Sojourner, Spirit and Opportunity, Curiosity, Perseverance. I think UAE has a rover on the moon. There's a number of rovers all around. There were a number of rovers on Mars. Mars is the only planet that we know of is that's solely occupied by robots. And in the near future, we're sending Dragonfly to Titan, moon around Saturn, to fly around certain zones of Saturn to start scouting out Titan's surface. So we send all these probes out. They want to ignore it. So
they're drawings. That's all they are. Fucking drawings. Really nice drawings too, I'll tell you. Terrific artists. Really make it look real. They can turn a ball into a realistic looking picture of Earth. It's amazing. The only problem is they mix the colors. You know, the colors are a little fucked up on some of them. Right?
Different cameras are sensitive to different wavelengths. It depends on what filters they're using on the cameras. And it just depends on what people are interested in looking at. Some people are more interested in looking at infrared light from Earth. Some people are more interested in looking at ultraviolet. And some people are more interested in looking at optical. And that all determines what kind of camera you're using.
Some are brown, some are red. You know, Africa's brown in 2015 and in 2009. It's a different color. Well, actually, no. They started doing the pictures in 2015. And they keep giving us terrific drawings, you know. But
they started the pictures way back in the 60s. Okay, the cameras were pretty primitive back then, but they've had cameras on things in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and okay, the camera in your cell phone. If the first iteration of CCD, what it is there's a little chip there that's sensitive to light called a CCD, and it's covered with little filters of RGB, red, green, and blue, and a clear one. And the computer on your cell phone combines them together. But the first one of these things started off in the 70s, I think, from Kodak. It actually got worked on a lot for Hubble, and to build a CCD for Hubble, because if you want to put a space telescope in space, you don't want to keep chucking film canisters up there or risking them go through the atmosphere. So you build a chip and transmit the images. And okay, my voice is starting to go. Just give me a second. I know nobody's really listening right now, so I may turn these into shorts. But you don't want to keep sending film back and forth. So they worked on the CCD chip and made it better. And actually, one of the first cell phone cameras was actually not for astronomy, or it was for a guy who was his wife just gave birth and he wanted to take pictures of his kid and send it. So he hobbled together a cell phone and a camera I think in his minivan or something like that, but to send the images. But that's how your cell phone camera came about. It had a lot to do with astronomy and NASA.
In the first picture that we had, the marble, everything looks a little different, doesn't it? The colors of the continents are all different. They're actually different sizes too. So I get
because all the continents are made of different compositions and stuff. There's different types of trees on different continents. There's different watercolors because there's different minerals in the water. So that could be the reason why they all look different.
Guess what happens is, like, maybe every 30 or 40 years, the continents, they kind of expand and then they contract. Kind of like the Earth is breathing, right? That makes sense. So they get twice the size of it, take up the whole side of the Earth, and then they contract back in.
Well, the images look different sizes because it depends on how far you are from the Earth when you're taking the image. So if you're far away, you see the continents look smaller. If you're closer, they look bigger. The Earth is not breathing. There is a crazy thought out there that called the expanding Earth theory, where they think the Earth is actually expanding slowly. There was a comic book writer, Neil Adams, who used to do Batman. He's passed away, I believe. Believed in that theory. But he wasn't a scientist. He was a comic book writer.
Into its region. It's like, remember the shrinkums? What were those things? They were called shrinks something. There were these little models, and they would grow, and then they would contract back in there. But these are actually things that you put in the oven, not that absorbs the water. You know, like the frogs and stuff that absorb the water, and they
This is how we were entertained before cell phones.
Expand to like 10 times their size. These were actually things that you put in the oven. Shrinkets? I forget what the name of them is. And they were like this small, and you put them in the oven and they grow. But yeah, I mean, maybe that's what the continents must do. So where are we now? Are we in the shrinkage area, or are we in an expanded or expansion area? That's what I would love to know. I guess we'll have to wait for that picture, right? Oh, you know they're going to give it to us. We want that really nice, crisp picture. And that's right. We have the technology now, you know? And could you get a couple of stars in the background? I mean, just make it look kind of like space. You know, that it's not a fucking drawing in a black drop. You know, just put a few stars. It's not going to hurt anyone. Don't worry. We're just going to measure where the constellation should be at that particular time, at that particular second, and where the star should be if you were right here behind the moon.
They have, and you guys have been complaining about that too. And they actually took a picture out the window of just the galaxy. I should have listened to this again. No. Fewer times the better. Okay, from space. And this is an image taken from Artemis of space. So, they did.
No, we're not going to check that. Don't worry about it. Just give us some stars. That's all we ask. They're not going to give you shit. They can't do anything. You'll never see stars. You'll never see anybody land anywhere. You'll see little machines land everywhere. Hell, I could make a machine land right over here and put a backdrop in it and make it look like Mars and turn everything red.
Okay, I'm getting a bit tired of... And I'm getting a bit like Cece's wife. Or ex-wife. There's some rumors that he's an...
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. The sun was standing...
Would you stop this bullshit?
Idiot. The sun was standing...
Would you stop this bullshit? Idiot.
I think I will end it there. Customary to at least have that clip in every CC video. So I hope everybody has a good day. Goodbye next, and hopefully see some more people in the next stream. And adios. No, gotta stop.